Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Welcome to Ready Set GameCast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and standing desks. I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by Darian, who is sitting in a chair.
Yes, and it reclines.
And Matt, who noticed that I am standing.
Yeah, it was the way you were bopping around.
Bop, bop, bop.
Hey, I have a standing desk. Right now, at this very moment, I am standing before your eyes with my legs.
Oh my god, this sounds like the beginning of a My Brother and Me episode when Justin had a standing desk.
I think they all got standing desks.
I think they do now, but Justin was the first one. At least he was the first one to make a big deal out of it, that I recall.
I remember there was a thing where they said like, "Hey, are we all going to stand for this one?" And they did. And yeah. I feel like they
Prior
had good...
to that, though, Justin definitely made a big deal about the standing desk that he had.
Well, I have a standing desk, and I feel like it's going to give me that energy we need to just really amp this thing up. I'm going to be able to move. I got my arms. They're everywhere.
Hey, Bryce, what kind of standing desk did you get? Can you send me a link?
The Uplift.
The Uplift? Is that the expensive one?
It's not as expensive as some other ones, but it is not cheap. But it is, depending on which... I got an 80-inch one, so it was actually about $1,200. But there's much smaller versions that are cheaper. I also got the 4-leg desk instead of the 2-leg desk. But if you look at Uplift, they have a bunch of sizes, a bunch of customization options. They have extenders. They have a lot of cool customization stuff.
Build your own custom desk.
The way my monitors are set up with this new desk is so choice. Love it. Anyway, I'm going to be standing for this entire podcast. What do you think is going to happen to me?
You're going to get tired standing.
I should mention I also got the commercial grade frame for my standing desk as well, which makes it a little bit more sturdy because I got such a long desk. I was worried there might be a little bit of like unsturdiness, but I got the sturdy frame and I've wiggled it, no issues. Going up and down, it's really solid, even for being super long. I can fit lots of stuff on here.
I get an L-shaped standing desk.
I like an L desk.
I purposely wanted a straight one just to get some more VR space. So I was like, I'm going to get a straight desk. I'm going to get a standing desk. I also have wheels on it so that I can roll it. If I'm like, oh, I need to pull it out to access some cords and stuff, I can just pull it out, move it where I want.
How's your cable management looking?
Real garbage. Nobody look back there. I actually got some stuff that's like, oh, this will help hide your cords. And I'm like, cool. And it still looks like garbage. So that's where we are. How do you guys think this is improving my energy? Do you think I'm really?
I can't tell if it's natural
or
it just
feels
like
forced.
it feels a little forced because of the standing desk.
I feel like I think we'll see how it goes throughout the podcast.
Wait, you can get an under desk hammock.
Oh yeah, you can for sure. You probably shouldn't.
Wait. Oh my god. I'm gonna sleep under my desk, guys.
I guess 80 inches is enough for that.
Oh, my desk currently costs $1,457 with all the things I've chosen, so that's fun.
I kind of like the idea of the hammock. My cat would like that too.
Oh, you can only include one hammock in the promo options. That's sad. It's a real, just absolute travesty.
I guess, like, if you had a studio apartment or something, you're like, this is my bed. This is my workspace. And I am sad.
Well, I've always wanted, like, a loft bed so you can put your stuff underneath it and then sleep up in the air.
Oh, yeah, I super think the hammock would be good for, like, a dog or something to chill out down there. Dog or cat. But we're going to talk about video games now, starting with the time that we say, what have you been playing? And the person being Darian. don't forget that we do put timestamps in both the audio and video version. So if there's any point that you're like, this isn't working for me, I'm going to move on to the next one, you have that ability.
Oh, it's my turn. I played a lot of the same stuff I usually play. Nothing new this time. So some Fall Guys, couple League of Legends ranked games because the season's over in November, I think, and I would like to get gold before then. Played a couple games of Dead by Daylight, which was not ideal because I haven't played it in like 2 months, and I'm not used to it. And I played a few games with my friends, and I got to the end of one, and I was like, guys, I don't think I can handle another one. And one of my friends goes, we played 2 games. You need to play some more. It's just like, oh, I don't think I can handle it. My anxiety's killing me. So I gotta desensitize myself to DVD again. And I played a couple games of PUBG, which after not playing for like 2 years was cool to return to because they made a lot of really good like quality of life improvements to the game.
The game looks way better looking.
It looks 1,000 times better and it runs so much better. But
I kind of forgot that game existed.
My boyfriend's obsessed with it, so I've always known that it's there. But I played a couple of games. Felt real just clunky, but it's definitely vastly improved. If you haven't played it in a while, I'd jump in, play a couple matches. Like,
would it
Would
it surprise you if I told you that I played it recently as well?
Yes. When did you play it?
I think within this last week.
Weird. Why?
Because so I have an ultra wide monitor, 32 by 9.
So it supports that.
Yeah, anything that supports it, I'm like, well, let me just take a look at that. I will say though, I don't know if it's probably because I played it on ultra wide, but maybe because of the graphics. I feel like maybe games that have like better graphics are more likely to make me motion sick because I was feeling a little bit rough after a couple matches. I don't know
probably.
I don't know if it was the ultra wide scene more or if it was the graphics, but I was feeling a little rough after.
Now, isn't it true that motion blur can sometimes make motion sickness in video games worse?
There's a few things that they say you can adjust, like the point of view, and different things. I think one of the big things is just like having something that doesn't move will help you get not have motion sickness. So I think the fact that the entire environment around me was moving, I think made me more likely to get motion sick. I guess I could probably mess around in the settings and see what could be done, but right now I wasn't like super excited to play PUBG that I'm going to jump back in on the thread of maybe getting motion sick.
I've never experienced motion sickness.
Fall Guys seems like a game that you've been playing a lot of, though.
According to my Steam, just pull that up real quick.
Pull it up. Put it down. Sit it in front of you.
I've played, only a total of 9.1 hours, actually. Not that much.
I slowed down on Fall Guys this week because I was playing some other stuff. I almost got to level 40 on the Fall Guys season pass, though. I'm almost there.
Level 40?
Yeah, that's the top max level on that.
Yeah, I just got to level 10 yesterday. So I got to play a lot.
Yeah.
to get there.
Okay.
We got to keep talking about video games or I'm going to open up Fall Guys right now.
I forgot that this segment existed, and it also feels like it's been 10 years since we've done one of these recordings.
Well, Matthew, why don't you tell us what you've been playing in the last 10 years?
Fall Guys, like I said. Other than that, a little game called Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 just released.
Equals 3. Turns out it was a math game all along.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 came out on the GameCube as a launch game or something like that in 2001. Is that roughly accurate? 2002? October 28th, 2001. I was right.
I never doubted you.
Anyway, Yeah, I played Tony Hawk, the remake.
Dope.
And
Is it dope?
it's pretty good. I've only played a couple hours, like probably 2 hours at this point. But thinking about like if I were to go back to play the N64 version, that's probably one of the games I'm most likely to play. Like if I was just gonna boot up my N64 and play a couple cartridges, I'd probably play Tony Hawk at some point in there. So I'm pretty happy to see this remake. Graphically, it looks really good. Like I don't know. It doesn't look like incredibly realistic or anything, but it's just like, oh, this looks good. This is nice. I think the menus are a little like overwhelming to some degree. There's like a lot of depth to the menus, and it's like
Matthew, no one played Tony Hawk for the skating. Tell us about the soundtrack.
Soundtrack is goog. I like the soundtrack. It is the old soundtrack plus new songs. So
Yeah, it's not the complete old soundtrack.
Does
It's
it
not.
have Avril
No.
Lavigne's girlfriend from the hit video game Burnout Paradise?
I don't think
No.
it does.
It absolutely doesn't.
It's such a
Fallout-
good
or-
song.
Girlfriend was like a 2007 hit, and these games came out in the 90s.
Well, as you have indicated, it has new songs, and one of those new songs could be Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne.
I don't believe
the
it
whole
does.
soundtrack on Spotify?
I don't believe Avril Lavigne is in there.
Then they fucked up.
So they've got a lot here. I'm looking at the list, and not one song on this list is one that I like. So Avril Lavigne Girlfriend
Wow.
is not on this game.
Wow, you fucked up Tony Hawk Pro Skater. 1 + 2 = 3.
There's a lot of good music in
There is a
there.
Real Big Fish song on there, and a Papa Roach song, and a Machine Gun Kelly song. That's weird.
Is it weird?
That's weird to me.
Anyway,
Would you recommend? Give me a
It
thumbs
plays
up,
well.
thumbs down.
it's only $40. I thought it was going to be full price, so I'm happy at $40 for what I've got so far. I like the character customization. There's a lot of like intricate stuff within like the colors of your clothing or the logos you're going to put on your clothing and things like that. Your board customization, it's fun. Yes.
Which Star Wars characters can you play as?
Oof. Officer Dick is Jack Black.
Okay,
Does
so
that
you
answer your question?
you would recommend it.
Yeah.
Did you?
I don't
did
know.
You,
Would there be a Star Wars character in there? There was a Spider-Man on the PlayStation version.
there
right?
was the guy with the red face paint. Episode 1.
Darth Maul
Darth Maul, yeah. Darth Maul was in it, in one of them, I believe.
was in.
I don't know which one.
That would have been 3 because that came out in 2001 as well, right?
Okay. I've never played a single one of these. I have not played one Tony Hawk Pro Skater game in my life.
Okay, it's super arcadey. Like it's not realistic skateboarding. So I don't know if like you'd prefer the skate style games where it's more like simulation.
In general, no. Like if I was a skater, maybe I would enjoy the simulation, but as a non-skater, I don't feel like that's what I want in my life.
Yeah. All right. It's a good fun time. It's definitely just, the old games more or less updated and, with some modern modern ideas brought to it. And like the trick set is actually from the third game, I believe, or like the third game and going forward. So they have things like manuals on the ground and, some other stuff that they didn't have in the first 2 games.
Cool. Matt, you're going to tell us about a different game, and I'm going to go to the other room and put on an item while that is happening that I can now do due to the power of my standing desk capabilities. So why don't you tell us about your third game?
I was going to bet that Bryce was going to leave the room at least once. I should have guessed like 3 times. The other game I played is For the King, which is a RPG, and it's kind of it's co-op. It's like a 3-person team, and you're doing a campaign that's sort of questing in a board game style. So you're on a hexagon map, and each of your characters can move independently, but everything you do kind of has the D&D style rolling for movement, rolling for, does your attack hit and how much damage are you going to do. So I think it does kind of that like tabletop RPG stuff in a very light, friendly way. And it's all, automated to some degree, right? Because you're just playing against the computer, more or less. Bryce is now wearing his royal robe. He looks like Santa Claus.
Everyone knows that this is the typical Santa Claus outfit. Hold on, I'm gonna lower my desk a little bit. So
the Santa Claus. But yeah, it's a quest-based. I guess there's dungeons in it. So you travel around the overworld. There's random events that happen. You go to places to defeat certain mobs to complete your quests. And the base storyline for the King is your king has been murdered, and you have to find out who did it and then avenge him. And so
that's got 3-player co-op.
Yeah, it's 3-player co-op.
I own it.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass on PC. I don't know if it's on Xbox One.
Probably. I think so.
It was free on Epic at one point, I think. So yeah, it's a good time if you want to, chill out and play a game remotely with your friends like you're playing a tabletop game.
We like tabletop.
I like
games.
tabletop sim for that.
I like playing with my friends in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign for that. Okay.
Bryce, what do you got? What you been playing?
So in a similar fantasy style environment, I've been playing Littlewood, which is not a sex joke.
Darian. It's a dating sim.
It's not a dating sim. She wasn't here for last time I talked about Littlewood. It's Animal Crossing meets Stardew Valley. It is a game in which you play I listened to the episode. Okay, yeah. So
you don't have to give another recap.
Well, maybe this is someone's first episode. Hello, welcome to Ready Set Gamecast. Sometimes we talk about me playing Littlewood. It takes place. Basically, the assumption is that
you are John Littlewood.
No. After a grand adventure where you stopped an evil wizard and you are basically rebuilding this town that you can name, the default name being Littlewood, which I did keep because I didn't think of any cool name. But I will say that you can pick your title because they're like, you're the big hero, you're in charge of this town. And you can pick what they call you, the default being mayor. I am the king of Littlewood.
John Hardwood.
No. I don't know if...
You're the king?
I'm the king.
That's boring.
Well, what?
Why didn't you make yourself a god?
The god of Littlewood.
I am the god.
I'm sorry. I didn't have that grand of ambitions.
I don't know about you, but I have a god complex.
I have delusions of grandeur. Anyway, so every character that can come to your town is romanceable. I
can fuck them all?
Every single one of them at the same time because I have gone on multiple dates. I've gotten smooches for many characters, and no one seems to be upset about that. It's not if you kiss Abigail, then the characters that aren't Abigail will be upset.
So it's not monogamy by default. It's
right,
polyamory by default.
It seems to be the case. Yes. I don't know if there's a certain case where you marry people, but as far as I can tell, you can date as much as you want. I can just keep on
smooching all of them.
Yep.
Done.
And there's so that being dudes, chicks, birds, they're all there for you.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, birds?
There's one bird. Oh, there's a bird, but there's also a half orc. Most of them are humans. Yeah, most of them.
Is it like a bird or a bird person?
It's a bird person.
Okay.
I mean, at what point does a bird become a person and not just a really big bird?
When they're walking on two legs
when they don't
and
fly
speak
and they walk around.
common, then they're bird people.
To be fair, I don't
They
know
have
that
to
he
be
can't.
bipedals.
To be fair, I don't know that he can't fly. I haven't asked. Also,
Honestly, they can fly as long as their primary mode of transport is walking on their two somewhat human legs.
I just remembered that when I bought this standing desk, they threw one of the free things that you can ask for is a foam thing to put under you when you stand, and I just realized I should have been using that, and now I am. You can kiss anybody in the game, and you can build up your friendship, and also everything that you, in the same way that kind of Stardew works, where you can like level up your mining and you can level up your farming and stuff. You can do that for, it's the same. You can mine, you can farm, you can gather, you can fish, and while you're doing that, you're kind of like building more stuff for the town. Like people will be like, "Oh, I met you. I'm gonna move to town because I also want to fuck you." There's a dude who like I talked to a few times. Actually, there's two dudes. There was one dude who wrote me a poem, and when he came to town and was like, "Hey, I wrote you this poem," and then he's like, "Also, here's the blueprints for my house. Can I live here?" And then there was another dude who was like, "Hey, thanks for building me this house. You're super hot," and I'm like, "Okay."
It's because I've been working on this house.
Yeah. Have you guys watched Has Been Hotel?
No. Yes. I think I watched a little bit. The first one, a little bit. I didn't like it.
There's only one
What
episode.
is that?
I didn't like it.
It's an adult animated show that's on YouTube, but they just got sponsored, so now they're going to be on a streaming service, I think.
I don't know why I would have guessed it was an animated show, but I would have if, I was like a betting man.
Well, there's a character named Angel Dust, which is definitely named after cocaine. And
I mean, they're all demons.
They're all demons. It takes place in hell.
Oh.
It's really fun. But one of the characters asks, "Well, what can you do?" And he says, "I can suck your dick." And for some reason, it just popped in my head when Bryce was talking about.
I built you a house or whatever.
Anyway, so you're building up the town both by getting new residents, building houses for them. There is deals of like you are customizing their houses for them. So there's a lot of like getting the right getting the blueprints for the chairs they want and the stuff around town they want, and then they'll also give you blueprints for new stuff around town where there's like things to get you new outfits. There's a museum which you donate stuff to, and so it's just kind of like a chill like go mine, build up stuff for the town, talk to the characters, kind of that Animal Crossing Stardew crossover. But what's really cool about it is that throughout the game, there'll be times where the day will start and characters will be having this like cutscenes at the town square where they're kind of like talking to each other about stuff. And there's been some really like cool plot stuff that has happened. They kind of seem to be suggesting that like there's going to be another big threat coming. Like, the fact that we defeated the Dark Lord or the Dark Wizard isn't maybe the end of it. And I would be curious if maybe we reach a certain point where there's like another quest that we go on with the people that I've brought to Littlewood. I'm interested. I will say I'm starting to get to a point where like it's slowed down a lot, and I'm not really feeling that like, hey, I'm constantly getting a new thing. I'm feeling like I'm getting progress. I'm kind of like there's stuff that I need to do that I'm trying to achieve, and it's not coming quickly. For one, I need to get, I think, $10,000 basically. And there's only so many ways you can make money, because you can collect a bunch of resources, but you can only sell them in the marketplace, and you can only sell so many things in the marketplace per day. So I have to like wait till the next day. Okay, now I'll sell something else, and it feels very slow at this point. I would like a store where I can go like, hey, sell all my stuff. I have all this stuff. Go sell it. Which is a little bit annoying. And yeah, there's some stuff. I will say there's a lot to do. They have a card battling, like almost Magic the Gathering style thing in there, which is kind of cool. But I'll report more. I'm probably sure I'll play more. It's a good game to just chill out with. Another game I decided to check out was Microsoft Flight Simulator. Before you ask me, so how was the flying? I will say I played just enough of the tutorial to learn how to like turn the plane, take off, and land. And then I stopped caring because the only thing I really wanted to do was see my house. And
fair. Did you do it?
I learned that doing that in the actual plane, not really the best way to do that because you kind of have to keep flying or else the plane goes down.
What?
Yes, but
there's not an autopilot button?
There is, isn't there?
No, but there is. If you hit the insert key on your keyboard, you can go into drone mode, which is basically free cam, where you can just fly wherever the F you want. So I have
so just like do a circle over.
Well, you can just bring the camera up and like look where you want. So it's kind of cool to like see my town the way they rendered it because my town doesn't have like 3D telemetry like some places do. They like 3D scanned it from the satellites or whatever. My town just has like the pictures that they took, and then the computer guessed what
heights of things.
Yeah, and even like kind of how things should look based on the pre-built buildings they have. There's some stuff that is like, oh, that's where Walmart is. That's where the mall is. Like, it looks really good. My apartment building, I like, okay, that's my apartment building. I can identify it. I will say the post office, which is maybe 1 to 2 stories high, they made into like 100-foot tall skyscraper. Just like in everything's real tiny, and then off in the distance, you just see a giant skyscraper and be like,
there it is.
I don't remember that. But it is amusing to go to places that I've been, like see my parents' place and be like, oh, what do they think? Like, okay, I can see why you would think our building looks like that and stuff. And I showed my girlfriend a picture of her parents, and it's kind of fun from that.
Like that novelty, but that probably wears off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
After you've done it.
I've flown the plane from like my place to my parents' town, and it's probably a pretty good deal of flying a plane, but flying a plane's fairly slow. It's not a very exciting. I did it with a trick plane once, and it was, you can like do the loop-de-loops, but it's still like planes aren't really that exciting if you're not doing anything other than just flying it. So if you're looking for something to fly a plane, it does that really good in a way that like it looks like you're flying through your town and stuff. But if you're like, looking for excitement, if you're looking like, I don't know, for something amazing, this probably isn't it.
Were you playing, I guess, were you operating on like super simulation mode or?
No, I turned all the assists on.
Just like, easiest mode possible, give it to me. I just want to be a tourist.
Yeah, to a certain extent, the plane kind of flew itself where it tried to keep its, pointed upward and the speed at a decent way, especially when I'm landing, it'll like auto set my speed. But I do still need to like make sure I'm like pointed in the right direction and kind of doing that. If you just want to look at stuff, for sure, just go into drone mode and do that. Also, the VR game Pistol Whip, which is kind of like a rhythm-based action movie where you're kind of going through an environment and shooting enemies as they pop up, set to music, had an update. It has 3 songs in it. I just tried the first one, which was very weird because most of the songs in Pistol Whip are like very fast and exciting to match kind of the like high intensity of like having these guys come up that you guys shoot real good. But this was like a super slow song and it was very weird. Very intense map still, but like the song was very chill.
So is it on rails? Like
yeah. Yeah, honestly,
like a regular rhythm game would be.
You are being pushed through it.
Yeah.
So, you're kind of on this platform that you are moving through constantly, and then enemies will be popping up around you for it. So yeah, on rails.
And does it score you on like your rhythm with the song, or is it just kind of like background?
I think there's scores on like where you shoot them, like headshots and stuff. Scores on not getting shot because they will be shooting at you, and stuff with that. I don't know if there's like an amount of like in tune, but I do know that like the enemies will pop up in rhythm, so I imagine that's an aspect of it. I think more is probably aim. I think typically they just want you to shoot with one gun. I always go two because that's like I have two controllers. What do you want me to do with my other hand?
Is there like a light gun that you can have for that? That'd be cool. I don't know why. That's what I picture. It's like
I'm sure there's a mount. I'm sure there's something you could fit your controller into. But the Vive controller feels fairly close to a gun anyway, so it's fairly good. So if anybody has VR, I would very much recommend Pistol Whip. They seem to be adding songs semi-regularly, and so check that out. But this time, we have an exciting takeover of the quick news section. But first, listen to this. Quick news time.
Oh, that's your handoff?
Yes.
Oh. All right.
What did you want me to do?
I don't know.
And introducing Darian.
Yeah, now it's Darian's turn to talk. I don't know. You have to do it like I'm a small child who needs very precise direction, or I have no idea what's going on.
Hello, Darian. Would you like to tell people what the video game news that has happened in the last 2 weeks in a very quick and efficient way?
Yes. We're going to go boom, boom, boom. Okay, so Apple can't revoke Epic Games' Unreal Engine developer tools, judge rules. I'm fairly certain that means that games made with Unreal Engine can still be on Apple, the App Store.
Yeah.
But they still haven't put Fortnite back.
Yeah,
which
basically,
I think is fine.
Right. Apple's allowed to specifically say Epic made stuff you can't have, but like, the Unreal Engine or development kit it's used to back so many games that like you can't realistically revoke that because then it takes down like every game on the App Store.
Right. Got a bunch of League of Legends news. The newest champion, her name is Samira. She was revealed. For some reason, people came to me with her and was like, hey, look, she's better Jinx, but she's nothing like Jinx. She just has a lot of guns and a gun blade, so she's like Squall Leonhardt from Final Fantasy VIII, which is kind of cool. She's also sassy.
Do you want her to kiss Jinx?
What?
Do you want this character Samara to kiss your favorite character Jinx?
Samira. No, yes. I don't. Jinx is 16. I don't want anybody to kiss Jinx.
Really?
In canon, she is a minor.
That's super weird because she's seems
psycho.
Yeah, and B, I guess has a rocket launcher. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do a murder if you're underage.
I don't think you should be allowed to do a murder ever. Let's just throw that out there.
I agree with Matt. Zon, where Jinx resides, is like a kind of like a lawless city. That's where all the chaos and crazy villains are. And power is left unchecked. That's where she lives. I don't think you can find Jinx's age on the internet. I think it was confirmed in an AMA years ago when she was released on October 10th, 2013. I think. I'm fairly certain. I know it was October 10th. Riot also revealed new units for Teamfight Tactics. The fourth set of them, they're called Fates. It introduces a new concept, which is like the Chosen. So
I will say that I just Googled the words, how old is Jinx? And from a Game Facts, they said Jinx is probably about 21.
Well,
so it seems like it's an undetermined.
Jinx is probably is not a confirmation. Also, Game Facts is not Riot Games or the developers at Riot Games.
I don't know if an AMA is enough to be official either.
An AMA run by a Riot dev who created her? Are you sure?
And if it's not put in a canon source somewhere, because devs say one thing and then later they're like, no, actually he can't speak for the entire canon. Sorry, he probably might have had his own idea. So if they're not saying somewhere official, I'm not gonna consider it gospel.
Hey, I'd like to correct something from earlier that I said. Yep. Episode 1 did not come out in 2001. It came out in 1999. just I looked it up after. But Tony Hawk did come out in 2001, the third one. So okay. I don't know when the second one came out.
League of Legends pop group KDA released a new single, The Baddest, and I hate it.
Yeah, really? It's nowhere as good as the first one.
I haven't listened to it.
So it's a very different tone from Pop Stars, which is not why I hate it. The song itself isn't that bad. I don't know why, haven't looked into it. There could be a number of good reasons for it, but they recast Kaisa and Evelyn with two different singers, and now there's rumors that they're going to release a whole album in which they replace two of the original people from the original group and didn't speak up front about it. I'm sure that there's something about why Jyra Burns and Madison Beer didn't reappear, but I'm mad about it, so I don't care for it. So KDA is also going to do another song with a fictional influencer named Seraphine, which is another creation by Riot Games. They made an account for her on Twitter, and it seemed like some random fan making stuff, but instead they made a fake influencer to collab with this fake band that they've created, which is just a whole lot.
So what you're saying is Riot Games is way too far up their own ass now.
Yes. So far up their own ass right now.
You know what they should do? Just make an MMO.
They still have, I don't know how to properly say her name. It's like Sonyeon or something. She's the one that does the raps for Akali, and she's appeared in all three of the cool songs. Pop Stars, Giants, and The Baddest, and she's great. And anything that Riot does to incorporate her further as Akali and as a rapper is great. But, yeah. Next bit of news. What?
How lucrative is it to make what are they, VTubers? Is that what they're called? You make that Seraphine character into an actual stream, right? Or that'll be a Twitch stream, and that'll be
I mean,
how lucrative is that?
Anything's it's just a popularity. If you make an Instagram account for your dog and it's popular, it's very lucrative.
Yeah, but you're Riot, so you already have millions of people. So then it's just
I think it's just a way to hook more people into Riot of going, hey, I think this Instagram account's cool. Oh, it's a Riot character. It's the same way that KDA brought people into League of Legends. It's just cross-pollination. They want people from over there to be part of this. They want people that are part of League of Legends to check out this other stuff. Darren, can you tell me about the next one? We need to stop getting sidetracked.
Stuff up.
Yeah, stop letting me get distracted.
Matt, stop asking questions. Next news story.
Sorry. I'm curious about the inner workings.
Yeah. So curious about how expensive it would be and how lucrative it would be to make a fake influencer. That's so dumb. Anyway, next thing.
VTubers are a thing.
Well, okay, so like, what is her name? She's like a Japanese one, and she's really sweet, and she has a song and stuff.
The blue-haired one?
No, she's a brunette, and she has like 2 colored streaks in her hair.
No, we gotta look this up.
If I just search it's the Kizuna AI. Her name is Kizuna. She's a Japanese YouTuber who she's supposedly a virtual reality or like a virtual AI person. It's definitely not. It's a person that's voiced by somebody and has like one of those camera capture things, like animated stuff. But anyway, the next thing is that reportedly a new Switch model with better graphics will be coming out in 2021. There's going to be a Shenmue anime coming to Crunchyroll and Adult Swim. I hate this article title.
The Fall Guys charity skin that goes in the game.
Yeah, the Fall Guys charity skin, it's altogether was like Ninja...
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Ninja, Mr. Beast. There's 4 of them, isn't there?
Yeah, Aim Lab is like a software. And something else. I don't remember. G2. Yep.
Ninja, Mr. Beast, G2, and Aim Lab. And they donated $1 million. So there's going to be 4 new skins based on them added to the game. LucasArts Classic, Sam & Max is coming back with a new VR game. The last game was in 2010. So I didn't read the article, so I don't have any further details, but I thought that was interesting. World of Warcraft Shadowlands, the 7th expansion, is launching on October 27th. Steam introduced a chat filter that weeds out slurs and profanity, so that's going to be fun. I can't wait to see the exciting and creative new ways that people use to swear.
Do you watch streams on Steam?
No.
Or is it like IM chat? I don't know why I read it as like a streaming chat. Because like who cares if you swear in a group chat, right? That's like up to your group.
I believe it's just like in public games.
Oh, so in-game chat, but like if it's launched through Steam?
I think so.
That's wild.
Chat filtering moves it to Steam for a customized experience consistent across supporting games.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's in the games.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a cool tool to have.
So the developers wrote that by filtering variants of the top 5 most commonly used strongly profane or hateful words, we can eliminate about 75% of profanity and slurs used in chat. That's exciting. Way less people just running around typing out the N-word all the time.
There you go, yeah.
So stupid. People do that a lot. The Witcher universe is getting its own version of Pokemon Go.
What's it called? I'm sorry. This is
The Witcher Monster Slayer.
Point. This is just like
It's called the Witcher Monster Slayer, which is that seems weird. There are some like universes where it makes sense because you can make an appropriate game about it. I don't understand how there's enough in the Witcher universe to make this happen. Like, there's 700 Pokemon, so like as they're consistently adding more, like there's always more to do. There's not 700 monsters in The Witcher, and it doesn't even look like you're trying to like acquire anything. It's just a augmented reality fighting game. Yeah, it's gotta be
more like the Harry Potter one.
Yeah, which the Harry Potter one was bad, so but it doesn't look like it's not being made by Niantic, it's being made by CD Projekt. Now it's time for the slow news. Bryce is gone forever, so
is there a jingle for the slow news?
I don't think so. I think it's just the same news.
All right. It's just the same news thing slowed down.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. All right. A big birthday for Mario coming up soon. I don't know exactly which day, but Mario turns 35 this year. Can you believe it? He doesn't look a day over, I don't know, 40. I'd say he's always looked at 40. Yeah, but with that, Nintendo did a direct, and there were some big announcements. They announced Super Mario 3D All Stars coming in later this month, which includes Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, which are 3 of the biggest 3D Mario titles.
Is it just the first Mario Galaxy?
Yeah, Mario Galaxy 2 not in there. I don't know. There's speculation about what the deal is with that, but Galaxy 1's still pretty good, so I never played Galaxy 2.
I'm still gonna buy it. Yeah.
They also announced that the Wii U title, Super Mario 3D World, will be coming early next year in February to the Switch, which is, one of the final, I think, Wii U titles that they haven't released on the Switch at this point. And they also have announced Bowser's Fury DLC that's going to be included in that. So I guess that's not really DLC, but, expansion or something.
Update.
Yeah. Deluxe edition, right? They announced this weird but cool looking Mario Kart Live, where apparently you need a living room the size of most people's houses in order to race your little RC Mario Karts around.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about how it would handle on carpet because my entire apartment is carpeted. So will it work? My guess is no. Am I going to buy it anyway? Yes. The question is,
like to see you try.
Mario or Luigi? Mario or Luigi? Because we know both exist.
Year of Luigi, duh.
Okay. Even though it is the anniversary of Mario.
Yeah, but Luigi's there too.
It's the anniversary of Super Mario Bros.
Hey, Darian. Did you know that comes out the day before my Extra Life stream?
Oh.
The 16th?
Yeah, because my Extra Life stream is on the 17th.
So are you going to use it on your Extra Live stream?
Probably. It'd be cool to multiplayer with somebody.
Hey, this Mario Kart thing, my question is, since it's an AR, it's an augmented reality thing, so you're looking at your Switch screen or your TV.
Yep.
But as you're playing, the little camera on the car is mapping your room, right? But you're not actually looking at the car. You're looking at the screen always. So
Yes.
kind of what's the point?
Because other people can look at the car and you have an actual car driving around you. It's cool to have a physical object that you were controlling, and I think it would be you have to imagine that it's possible to drive this around with just your Switch. That there is a free
just a remote control car thing.
Yeah.
But then you're not playing Mario Kart probably.
Sure, but you have the option to do both. You can do one or the other, or both. Who knows?
That's true.
And it is cool that you can make your own car tracks.
It's cool looking.
And it is cool that you could set up physical objects to be part of the difficulty. Actually building blocks and be don't hit the blocks because that's an actual. The more you think about this, Matt, this is the greatest thing that's ever been made.
I think it's cool. I just also immediately questioned when are you actually looking at the car? You're always going to be looking at your screen.
Matthew A. plays.
So it doesn't matter if the car's
That's not his name. Don't dead name him.
But it was such a. It was such
about it like that.
It was such a good name.
Yeah, but he has chosen a new name, and you will
respect
respect
if that
it.
name was coming back the other day. I was asked.
I think this is cute and fun, but I don't think there's a point in it because there's no way to make my living room half as interesting as a real Mario Kart course is.
Challenge accepted.
Good luck.
Bryce is gonna take an axe to it. Here's a water
I want to
pit.
see Rainbow Road in my living room, or I'm dissatisfied.
Okay, I want to say Rainbow Road really isn't that exciting. It's kind of just a straight
Actually,
shot.
now that you say that, that'll be kind of cool when people actually go hard with
Oh yeah.
Oh my
neon
god!
and cool lighting effects and physical things. Tracks.
Imagine the streams of people racing around in their actual living rooms and stuff. And it supports
also people taking it outside and racing in the streets with
That's good. See, I was about to say, imagine like a PAX where people bring their
that
cards.
Is cool.
And
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And it supports up to 4 players. I would be curious if that's just going to be a bunch of Marios and Luigis or if we're going to see other racers. See, here's what I'm hoping is $100 for it.
That's not bad.
It's like $60 for a normal game, so you're paying like 30, 40 for the
I don't know that the Mario Kart you're getting in this though is like a full value Mario Kart.
Sure. I mean, there's a whole discussion of how much your games be. People are throwing a fit about Superstars being $60. But I'm curious if are they going to put like out a Toad, because no one's going to want to buy the Toad, which means that baby's going to go on clearance and you can probably pick that thing up cheap. But my guess is we're probably only going to get Mario and Luigi. We'll see.
Maybe like a Bowser and a Peach.
If they got Bowser, I'm all about the Bowser. Matthew? Can I call him Matthew?
Yeah, I'm fine with Matthew.
Okay, what if every character in the Super Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was one of these RC cars?
That would be so many me's.
I would no. You're a chick. I would be all about a Bowser Jr. little RC car that I could also play Mario Kart with around my home.
Would you buy the Rose Gold Rosalina or Peach, whatever it is?
I'm not really into them, but I know that my girlfriend would like an Isabelle from the Animal Crossing. Maybe if these do sell really well, they probably will make more. So I'm going to buy each of you a Mario Kart cart. Okay.
All right. I was going to say I'm not going to get this, but if you're going to buy it for me, sure.
I would be. It would be curious. It would be so. Okay, here's what I would like. For you to do online multiplayer. So like they're basically driving around your ghost track while you're actually racing with your RC.
So we all set up our track in our own house.
Well, see, because that would be weird. That would be off. I don't know. It'd be cool if there'd be an online way. I have no effing way how that would happen, but it'd be cool. Anyway, Matt, I want to hear some more Mario.
All right. Hey, do you love the Game & Watch? Because Nintendo's got a new retro handheld for you.
Dude, I'm actually excited about this.
The Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers is, I think, a short run.
A limited, yeah.
It seems like it will be, at least.
I mean, to be fair, isn't the 3D All-Stars also a limited?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that. That's weird.
And also the digital is.
The digital version of 3D All-Stars is only available until March next year when it comes out.
They're only making so many physical ones, which I totally understand.
That makes sense, yeah.
But you can only purchase it digitally for so long.
Yeah. I might try to get a physical of it. I don't know.
That's going to become a collector's item probably.
Yeah, I mean, as much as, regular All-Stars is on the SNES. That cartridge, it's consistently higher priced than other SNES cartridges.
It's available.
But not like super unreasonable.
It's available to play it on your Switch now.
Yeah, that's true. That's coming up here.
It's out. Yeah, it's out now.
So yeah, the Super Mario All-Stars SNES cartridge pack is available on the whatever that's called, retro arcade of Super Nintendo games on the Switch, if you have the Switch Online, which includes Mario Bros. Mario Bros. 2, which is the American version, Mario Bros. 3, and then Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which is actually the Mario Bros. 2 that they thought would be too difficult for Americans and released only in Japan and then released later as Lost Levels. I believe that's why that's that way, right? Someone can clarify for me.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah.
I wonder where they lost them.
Bowser stole them.
Rude.
So yeah, the Game & Watch, you can buy this actual handheld. It's a Game & Watch, and it's got Super Mario Brothers on it and the Lost Levels on it. So it's Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2. And the Game & Watch game.
No, is it does it have 2? I think it has lost levels on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, Lost Levels, sorry. So, yeah, Japanese 2, American Lost Levels. And Bryce is going to buy it, so he'll tell you more about it when he gets it.
My favorite part about it, I'm out of focus, but
Is that it works as a watch?
Yes, because it I think it would be dope to set up somewhere and just have it be a cool clock.
I never knew that was what Game & Watch meant, and that it was a game and a watch.
I don't see myself playing the game. I just want it to be a cool watch in my home with Mario dancing around.
What else they got? Oh, did you like Tetris 99? Because I do.
I don't, but this thing I do.
Well,
I will.
For a limited time, starting in October till March, you can play Super Mario Brothers 35, which is Tetris 99, but Mario Brothers.
So you run through...
You run through the original Super Mario Brothers game, and as you get score and kill enemies, you send junk enemies to the other 34 players. And then the person with the highest score lasting the longest wins.
You can just summon Bowsers? That's kind of fucked up.
I mean, you have to kill their Koopas and stuff, and they'll show up for other people. I don't know if Bowser's Koopas, Goombas.
It looks like there's all
of them.
There's a Bowser on the edge.
Yeah.
On this first icon, I see
all
Goombas.
His friends are dead.
I see those fish. I see a bullet bill. I see whatever those squids are called. I see one of those pointy ball guys.
Ball guys.
What else you got, Matt?
What else I got? A bunch of little in-game nods to Mario.
Hit me with them.
So Mario Kart Tour will have a special Super Mario Kart Tour event.
That game's dumb and no one should acknowledge it.
With SNES Mario and Donkey Kong Jr.
I would rather play the RC one, because I like that kind of thing, than play the mobile one, because that one's been has been lying to us all along that you've been playing multiplayer, but you haven't. It's been single player all along.
Mario Maker 2 is going to get a 35th anniversary themed speedrun course.
Nice.
Super Smash Brothers will have an online tournament using Mario series fighters, stages, and items in November and December. A Mario themed... Oh, wait, this one. I think this one was made especially for Bryce.
I'm Bryce.
Mario themed Splatfest is coming to Splatoon 2. You thought Splatfest were done?
No, because
January 2021.
They actually came back. They redid a one that they've done previously. Can you tell me what they are doing the Splatfest over?
Which Super Mario power-up do you prefer? Supersize with a super mushroom or become invincible with a superstar?
Who the F is picking the mushroom over the invincibility star? Who thinks the invincibility star is the least good option of those two? Also, they're coming out with cool T-shirts.
Yeah, I guess given the option, I prefer the star.
Yeah, but the T-shirts look dope.
Yeah, there's Uniqlo. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to say if that's wrong then.
You already
there's
said
T-shirts and keychains and things. And lastly, Animal Crossing New Horizons is going to get Mario-themed furniture in March next year.
Yeah, March.
That's awesome.
That's probably right around the year anniversary of Animal Crossing.
My guess is it'll come out March 10th, because if you don't know, that's Mario Day. Because
MAR 10. That must be binary.
That's not how binary works.
000101010.
Which one of our favorite Fall Guys champions is going to tell us about what's coming to Fall Guys?
I think Darian should. She's the main... Fall Guys is her main game now. Based on what she said.
There's nowhere that I indicated that, but I'll happily cover Fall Guys. Clip it or it didn't happen. Fall Guys Season 2 is coming in October, and it's going to be more medieval themed, and that's going to be fun. There's going to be wizards and other fun costumes, and there's going to be more mini games.
Little Viking dude. And lady.
There's going to be, wizards, knights, dragons. It's all there. Starts in October.
I'm gonna play as the ranger.
All right. And then also, just a little score for Fall Guys. It's the most downloaded game in PlayStation Plus history, which is exciting. It's kind of a big deal for Fall Guys. They came out swinging.
Yeah,
I hope it sticks around. Like, I hope that's what Bryce and I talked a little bit about last time. Is just like, does it have legs?
We'll see how often they get updates. It seems like we're already starting to see it lose some of those legs, but we'll see how this update hits them.
It came out in February, officially, at first.
Fall Guys?
Yep.
No.
According to this, initial release date, February 2020.
Was that when it was
just came out like a month ago?
So,
what?
Maybe it was the beta? The first thing that it pulled up. Sorry, that may not be accurate. That's what the internet says when I Googled it.
August 4 or Fall Guys release date, and it said August 4th, 2020.
Why does it say initial release date February 2020?
Maybe that's when they said it was going to come out first, and then they lied. Maybe that's... Sometimes the companies will say one thing, but then they'll surprise you in the night.
So August 4th, when they launched, the servers could not handle the amount of people that were playing, which is great.
Is it?
And they're already keeping it fresh. It's only been out for a month, and they've already started planning season 2. I'm excited. I think this game is being well cared for, at least in the beginning. So, I mean, a lot of the initial hype people that jumped in on the hype are probably going to fall off, but I think that this could have a pretty decent
I wonder if they'll
audience.
Keep at the pace of every 60 days as a new season, because it's
That's
October, right? So we're about halfway through the first season now, and with that we'll get the like new game modes, right? Since it's medieval themed, a bunch of the courses are medieval themed, but now there's like all these moving platforms and slightly different game modes. So I wonder if that pace will keep up, or if that'll have to slow at a point.
I did notice that something with the new one, it seems to require the players cooperate to be able to go through, and I'll be.
Oh no!
Which, I mean, exists now.
It's actually going to be the downfall. Season 2 of Fall Guys is going to kill Fall Guys.
Is there anything that like?
I'd say Seesaws is a good example of that.
But everybody's kind of acting on their own and sometimes getting effed by other players.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how the moving platforms will work.
Yeah, but it's not. The other ones, they like everybody. I don't know if one player can move those blocks on their own. They seem pretty beefy. Maybe they can, or do it slowly. But if you're working together, you can do it faster. We'll see how it works. But it does seem like they're kind of trying to.
Yeah, I think that like alliances of convenience are at the core of a lot of the Fall Guys games, right? It's like you and the other player have a silent understanding that in this moment you need to do this together before for you to both move on, but ultimately you want to beat them by the end of the game, you know?
You know what?
Am I looking into Fall Guys too much?
You know what is...
I don't know. Matt Pat already has several theories planned out, so no, I don't think you're looking into it too much.
You know what's going to beat this generation's video game graphics cards? The new ones. The Nvidia's next-gen graphics cards, the 3070, 3080, and 3090. And I know what you're saying. Surely it can't be. But
don't call me Shirley.
The 3070, which is Nvidia's cheapest card, is supposedly, according to Nvidia, faster than the 2010 Ti, which it was like the Mac Daddy, one of the most expensive graphics cards you could buy of, I guess, the current gen. I don't know how that, like, are we in the next gen now?
We're
or
in
are we
the 2080s still. The 2080 Ti is the top performer on the Nvidia side that you could get right now.
Yep. And but the 3070 is supposed to be faster than the 2080, which it seems to be like slightly, like very comparable to the 2080. Their 3080, which is around the $800 price mark, is supposed to be twice as fast as the 2080.
Which that's your like standard price, decent graphics card. You know, when you're getting like a beefy new card, that price point's right around what you're gonna spend.
Yeah. And that's getting you twice as powerful as the $1,200 card of this gen. Now, Nvidia was like, well, we're not going to turn down the people who do have $1,200 sitting around. So they are coming out with the 3090, which
it's the size of your head.
Honestly, I have a pretty beefy 2080 right now. It's got like heat sinks and a bunch of fans, so it's probably about the size of mine. When he pulled it out of the oven, I was like, "Holy fuck, that's a big card."
It's thick.
Yeah. So we'll see. But that is supposed to run 8K graphics at 60 frames. So it's powerful. It's probably
it's complete overkill probably for 95% of people.
Yeah. I will say with someone with an ultra wide monitor, games, it has to push way harder because of the bigger aspect ratio. It's wider, but it's not 4K, so it might be comparable. But I do definitely run into my graphics card having to push more than normal just because my wider deal.
I feel like if you're sitting on like a 980 right now, the 3070 or the 3080 are a good deal and a good reason to upgrade.
I think everybody's going to want, if you have a 1080 or 2080, you're probably going to want the 3080 because it's cheaper.
I feel like I got my 1080 not super long ago, but it's been a couple years at this point, but I'd probably still, I don't know. I'll wait till it's the minimum spec, I guess, and then
Yeah.
Anybody who has been eyeing a 2080 previously is like, oh, I'll save up for that. Now they can get a 3070 that's as powerful, but for like $400.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is making computers are going to be way more powerful and way more cheaper.
Yeah, and when the PlayStation and Xbox announce their $600 price tags, you'll be like, why don't I just get a 3070 and a PC?
I mean, I think people who get consoles are still going to get consoles. They get it for the simplicity. They get it for the exclusives. But for PC gamers, this is really going to raise the bar for what we're going to see. I will say maybe due to these being so cheap and easy to get, we might see games expecting you to have higher graphics cards sooner.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
I feel like 4K support and stuff isn't even like widely there yet. So like 4K at higher frame rates.
Yeah, maybe this will be the what pushes them to
actual ray tracing.
But this takes us to the Patreon producers section where we thank our Patreon producers, which are Aaron C. and Dragons Lucas. Thank you for helping support this show. And you can too by going to patreon.com/lastgeek and providing $5 a month to help keep the lights on and help keep me standing like I am right now. Thank you again, Aaron C. and Dragons Lucas. Darian, tell us about it. The next thing that we're talking about. Tell us about it.
Okay, so now it's time to talk about Ready Set GameChat. The game we played was The Suicide of Rachel Foster. Okay, everybody played it, right? Start to finish?
I did it.
I played it in 2 sessions.
2 sessions?
Which it wasn't that long.
I did the first 2 days, and then I was like, I'll play the rest of this later. And then I might have finished it shortly before this podcast.
I did the first, what were there, 8 or 9 days?
9 days total.
I did the first 8 days.
Oh,
and then called it a night.
Wow. See,
He had no idea. So then you came back and you were like, oh, there's not... Okay. There's like half hour left.
Yeah.
I was on day 4 when I Googled how many days there were, but like day 5 and 6 are just like a quick thing.
Did we all play on PC?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's only available on Steam. I'm not completely sure.
I thought it's definitely on PlayStation.
Oh,
Okay.
It was? Oh. I got it on Steam, and then I actually played with my Steam Link and played it on my living room. For the first time I've really tried that.
It's on everything, yeah.
You know what's really weird about this game?
Except for
So
Switch.
when I loaded it up, the main menu did fill my entire ultra-wide monitor. So I'm excited. This game supports ultra-wide. Then I start the game and it squishes it down to the center.
Oh.
Except in the left corner outside of the like normal where I see the game, it like was like Montana, like it told me where I was, but everything else was just in the center. And I was like, so you're supporting it, but in the weirdest possible way.
You're supporting it, but bad. You're supporting it poorly.
I don't know if maybe it was just because they like wanted you to not be able to look as much as possible.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so we all played on PC. I played it all the way through. You guys played it in 2 sessions.
Oh, by the way, if you are new, this is going to be spoiler filled.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played The Suicide of Rachel Foster and want to play The Suicide of Rachel Foster, skip ahead to
1 hour 46 minutes and 24 seconds.
How do we want to go about discussing this? Do you guys have like any first impressions noted down or anything like that?
I took no notes, but you want to know my impressions throughout? The dialogue felt super freaking weird. The Irving character was saying sketchy things. So there was a lot of the dialogue felt kind of off, but there was certainly points where like Irving was saying super weird shit. And like it made sense at the end why he was saying this weird shit, why he would like be able to
your character didn't react in a way that was like, hey,
at no point it's like, hey, why'd you call me cutie pie? That's super weird. Oh, you're not going to acknowledge it at any point? That's fucked.
And it didn't give you like the appropriate responses either. Like when you were choosing, it was like, am I flirting with this guy? Why am I flirting with this guy? What's going on here?
also, okay, so another thing I hated about it was that they would have a conversation and be like, oh, you got to go to the fridge and get this thing, da-da-da-da. And then you'd be like, okay, cool, I'm going to go do that. Hang up. Like 2 seconds later, oh, hey, just to let you know, the fridge, like, fucking say the whole thing at once. Like, constantly they'd be picking up. It's like, hey, have the conversation, say the thing, give me a task to do, and let me do it. Because sometimes they would have conversations. I'd go like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And then like a few seconds later, they'd call again and then actually give me something to do. And I was like,
yeah. So that was one of the things I noticed early on, right? Is like you have your map button, and when you pull out your map, there's a little to-do list. And like half the time when I'd look at it, it was empty. And I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Just walk around until I can click on something? Like,
there was okay. So it seems that once you get that first key, the whole place basically opens up to you. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up just kind of wandering around. I do wish the map said like you are here, because you kind of have to like know where you are to be able to use the map.
I think the map and the environment and like the visual assets are the 3 strengths of this game, and everything else is like I did not enjoy.
Yeah. So I ended up wandering around. I ended up finding the church super early, and it was like
weird.
This is super weird. And then they were still having the conversation about like how to turn on the boiler, and I'm like, what's with this weird church? There are sleeping bags here. I feel like we should talk about this. And he's just like, so you put on the thing for the boiler, and I'm like, why? Like, either not allow me to be here right now, or so I wonder.
That's weird that that's not gated in a way.
Yeah.
Right.
So that begs the question, could you go to the secret room right away?
No, you couldn't.
No, because that was barred off.
That was barred off. There was a wall there.
That was like, the doors were closed and there was a bar down on it. Like it was like closed off for renovations.
No, so there was the place that Irving was, but there was the place where...
No, that was closed off.
Okay, Rachel's room was also...
I looked under the stairs there, like to see if there was anything, and there was like a wall, and it wasn't interactable or anything. Okay. And then immediately after going through that sequence, I was like, oh, now there's a door there. Like,
yeah.
Oh, now.
So I will say.
Okay, so we're already tearing this game to shreds. Let me go back to the first wondrous notes that I was making. We should probably say what kind of game
it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think each person gets to lead the discussion about their game. So Darian's showing us how it's done. So Darian, whatever you want to say.
Well, okay, well, I took detailed notes right at the beginning.
Hit me with
I
them.
was like, I'm writing down first impressions, and
did you want to give an overview of what Suicide of Rachel Foster is?
Yeah, let me read the Steam page again.
That's a good
Everybody
idea.
loves when I do that. It's kind of long. Bear with me. 1993, Lewis and Clark County, Montana, U.S. 10 years ago, teenager Nicole and her mother left the family hotel after discovering her father Leonard's affair with and pregnancy of Rachel, a girl her own age who eventually committed suicide. Now that both of her parents have passed, Nicole hopes to fulfill her mother's last wish to sell the hotel and make amends to Rachel's relatives. With the will and determination to put that chapter behind her, she returns to the hotel and with the family's lawyer to audit the decaying structure. As the weather unexpectedly turns for the worse, Nicole has no way to leave the large mountain lodge and finds support in Irving, a young FEMA agent, using one of the first radio telephones ever built. Because it's 1993 and it's not today's technology. With his help, Nicole starts to investigate a mystery far deeper than what people in the valley thought. A story of love and death where melancholy and nostalgia melt into a thrilling ghost tale. Fuck, I didn't read that whole description. The first several times that I've read this, I never read thrilling ghost tale. Oh my God.
So,
Not really a ghost. Is it a ghost tale?
yes.
Kind of.
To
guess.
simplify it, it's a walking simulator with real super creepy vibes.
Well, spooky vibes.
Which after I started it, I Snapchatted Darren and I'm like, "Is this a spooky game? You have to tell me if it's a spooky game." And she was like, "Yes, it's creepy, but nothing's there. Nothing's gonna get you. You're fine." So I was like, "Okay." All of these creepy noises nothing's gonna grab me or anything. There's definitely jump scares. There's definitely a few things.
I said that.
But
What would
To be fair.
Can you give me an example of one of the jump scares? Because I feel like it really didn't.
there's
have any.
several times
There's a
like
point where doors slam shut.
Oh yeah, okay, that's true. There's like some lights on the wall and stuff.
there's nothing that jumps in view, but there's several sudden sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so she said like nothing's there, and I think you meant that in the way of like nothing's going to
There's
kill
not
you.
a monster actively.
Yeah.
But there is something there. Arguably, I do think that they did insinuate that there is a ghost
Yes.
because
Yeah, I think that was kind of one of the
Absolutely.
narrative goals.
Rachel's there.
yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely an element of like Irving was doing things, but then there's also a thing of like more was happening than Irving would be capable of. Like there
Right.
was doors that were slamming that were not like he was not there. That was not his doing.
I mean,
It could have been arguably the wind, but the way they were slamming was like, why are they suddenly able to do that?
because he rigged it up and pulled a string, and they
yeah,
all slammed
he did
shut.
it to spook you on purpose.
'Cause he's a
no, that's definitely not a
psychopath.
thing.
Yeah, you would have
So-
seen the strings.
We're going all the way back to the beginning before the parts where Bryce and Matt were like, "All right, this is a bad game." So the
Sorry,
game
I didn't.
opens.
Can we? What? How do you guys feel about the way they do movement? Because in general, I do not like the rocky back and forth movement.
I played on a controller, so it was naturally less than ideal.
I play on a
So
controller
I just
too.
figured it was like, okay, these are PC controls on a controller, so it's gonna
I
feel
had
awkward.
no issues with movement.
I played on
I
controller.
didn't have that feeling.
You didn't have it where it's kind of like what not like
It was
a
really
glide.
subtle. With a mouse and keyboard, you can because I'm controlling where I'm looking the whole time, so the rock isn't as noticeable because I'm moving what I'm looking
Right.
at consistently.
Being able to point at things with a mouse rather than a stick, it's like, okay, that's
Right.
way more fine-tuned.
It's a more
Okay.
smooth experience. I didn't experience that issue.
I
Okay.
did end up sprinting almost all the time.
Oh,
though,
yeah,
because
me
I thought
too.
the
Same.
walking was way too slow.
Yeah,
Walking was too slow. And sprinting wasn't fast enough sometimes.
No.
I got so frustrated.
they took way too long to tell me what the sprint button was.
Oh, I suppose on a controller, you might have to be told.
No, I just pushed buttons until I got what
Yeah.
I wanted.
I tried a few, but
that's what I do in games. I experiment until I figure out if I can or cannot run and how to do so every time. Okay, so the game opens and the graphics are gorgeous.
It's a nice looking game.
So pretty, yeah. There was a lot of really cool details. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that there were literally like teardrops on the letter that she'd written.
Oh yeah, it was
mom
wet,
had
yeah.
written to her. And
I wish that
flipping
part
back
was
and
voice narrated.
yeah, me too. The letter from her mom, that would have been nice.
Oh, well, so I had subtitles on, and the subtitles were not matching with the words on the
Yeah, mine
letter.
didn't
yeah, the
either.
subtitles had a separate thing going on. So there might have been like a narration that was glitched out. Because there was a couple times in my gameplay where there was definitely supposed to be audio playing, but there was none and there was subtitles.
I didn't run into that. I did run into the thing right away, and I was like, is this supposed to be her thoughts? And maybe it was supposed to be voice, but yeah, I would have liked to not
having it read to me would have been nice.
Especially because you had to read the scripty.
Yeah, it was in
Uh-huh.
cursive.
Yep. When you first get to control Nicole and you are in her dad's apartment or whatever, the master suite, I wrote Nicole is super tall because you like the fridge that they have must be really small or something. Because where you're standing, you are almost to the ceiling in that kitchen. You are above the fridge.
To be fair, it's a hotel room that they just happen to be living in.
Right. I just thought it was really funny.
Just like you're giant.
Yeah, it was wild. And all of the books being about science. And I don't know if you guys like read and like tried to like
Read every
investigate any of the books in her dad's study and stuff, but I read a lot of them and I learned a lot about physics and string theory that I didn't think I needed to know.
Do you think that information is accurate or just what they were?
Or do you think it like thematically ties to the game at all?
I feel like
Other
they
than,
were
like-
going to do more with it than they did. I feel like they were trying to set up something that went nowhere because they could have done some weird thing about like they talked about how her dad was communicating with Rachel after she
Right.
died or whatever. And they could have done so much more. They could have been like, oh yeah, he was trying to bring her back from the dead and did all this like studying into, different universes and multiple realities and string theory and blah, blah, blah. Like
Yeah,
they
that
could
would
have
be a
made
cool
more out of
story.
it. But that ended up going nowhere. Like, oh yeah, your dad was just a weird rocket scientist, I guess, or some shit.
It was
Like,
just a real pedo. So
Yeah.
that really okay.
that whole thing made me wildly uncomfortable.
That made
He
me
was
not want to play the
grooming
game and feel
her.
like I got ripped off because I bought the game.
Yeah.
Those two things, I was like, I don't want to support this. This is
Yep.
weird. She was 16, and that really damaged how I feel about the game.
16 and not all there mentally.
Yeah,
Well, and like,
it was like,
the
this guy should be
way-
in jail. Why wasn't he arrested? How does everybody in town know about this and he didn't get arrested?
yeah, like, so all the way at the end, right, when Irving and her are discussing it, when she finds out that Irving was there or whatever the whole time, right? And they're like romanticizing it. He's like, they were just
Yep.
in love. It
Yeah,
was
and
fine.
then-
Like,
Not only did you bring up
excuse
like
me?
this weird sensitive topic, you then also drove home the exact wrong idea. Like you were
Yeah.
like, this is my statement, and it's like, no, that is fucked up. Like, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Also, if we're going to talk about that, so it seemed like Irving and her dad were in league together about this whole thing.
Yeah,
To-
and he was
to- To torture. So the dad was in league to have his daughter tortured, basically. Like, for
Yeah.
what? Like, don't tell me. For all the shit that Irving was putting together, that all the clues that he was laying on, he had to know. I guess the only thing that I could have been like, he thought it was either Nicole or her mother. He didn't know which one. But you're telling like he had to know, like, oh, because there was a whole deal of like, I just needed your help to find out. Why'd you torture her then? It was you basically were.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that really lost me. Like, once that was the main through line or
Yep.
subject of the game, I was just like, I feel disgusting playing this. Like,
yeah, and right at the beginning, I was leaving notes about how like there was so much dead time. Like sometimes a little slow, some dead space and exploration. The atmosphere was 90% of the game. There wasn't a whole lot of music, which was accurate at the beginning. It made it seem like there was going to be like some kind of dynamic soundtrack, but then it just stops. There's just no music. And that was weird. And also at the point where you're like getting food because you need to survive in the hotel, and it makes you go through all of the steps of finding the food, putting it in the microwave, waiting for the microwave.
The
like,
fucking microwave. What did you want us to do?
Yeah, and there was no dialogue or anything. Like, she wasn't like, oh, let's chit-chat with this. Like, it was just nothing.
What did you guys do in that kitchen segment? Like, did you know...
I looked at my phone.
Oh, okay. Because
I was just waiting to be scared. At some point, I got too nervous, and I had to pull up a walkthrough to tell me what to do next so that I didn't, like, cry. Because the spooky vibes were a little bit too much for my anxiety, and I was mad about it.
Can we talk about the part where you have the sound listening thing?
The best part of the game.
So you get that on, I think, the first floor. So I scanned that around the first thing, and then you walk through. Yeah, you exit the door. The way that they ended the days was so fucking weird too.
Yeah, those were like the biggest jump scares in the game, honestly.
It made no...
Just fade to black. Like,
this aggressive cut with a boom sound. Like,
yeah.
Like, was it day 5 where she just seemed to have a dream, and that's all she did that day? It's like, what else is happening? There, like, the day she got the listening device, she's like, oh, let me tell you, it cuts. And I'm like, then what? Shouldn't we be scanning? What are you doing here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, when you got the scanning device, that's when I was like, nope, I need to walk through because I'm gonna discover something I don't want to. I need to make sure that like nothing's gonna jump at me.
So I enjoyed that like ghost hunter B plot storyline. I was like, okay, like they're actually doing something interesting here now instead of just like you're walking through this building. I liked the video thing. I was like, okay, cool. They're trying to be spooky. They're trying to set up a little tension here. And then you get the little, I don't know what to call it. Satellite, like a sound dish.
It's just a microphone.
A fancy microphone, yeah.
And then all you end up doing with it, though, is getting an achievement.
Well, you had to...
hitting the right spot.
You had to find the place. Like, it was a way to find out where they wanted you to go. But I ended up going up, checked the entire first floor. I ended up going to the second floor and basically checked every place on the second and first floor because like I'd go like, oh, it's getting louder, and just check everywhere. And then finally I ended up on the main floor.
Where did it end up leading you?
To the ballroom where the chandelier had fallen. At least that's
okay. Right. So, I got an achievement for going the opposite direction from the dining room. If you came down from that overlook room and before you got to the kitchen and stuff, there was like that back staircase. And it was like an old dining room. It was like if you went into the back hallway off of that, kind of under the overlook, I got an achievement called like Ghost Hunter, and it was like you actually hit like voices.
Oh, I heard voices throughout several times, so... like on the second floor and stuff.
Yeah, it sounded like wind chimes. Sometimes.
Right, the chandelier did. Yeah.
Yeah, that I ended up getting lost, so I was frustrated with that. I will say there was the time that you had to turn on the generator, and the guy was like, make sure to follow the wires so you don't get lost. I'm like, fuck you, and I went to every possible... Oh, I'm like, oh, secret thing here.
What was in those other directions? Because that was at the point where I was like, I'm spooked enough that I'm not gonna look at anything other than the wire.
I'm just
gonna look at the wire.
There was panels, like hidden panels that allowed you to kind of like go into those secret passages,
the crawl spaces.
Yeah,
so that was like almost an allusion to like what would come later when you discovered Rachel's
sort
room.
of. Yeah,
in
sort
that way.
of.
Like, oh yeah, look at all these weird random places you can go.
Yeah, there was
foreshadowing,
a push type thing through there, and I found some of those throughout. Like, it seemed like there was a shit ton of hidden passages that you could find, which I was like, oh, maybe this will be helpful to get around later, but it didn't really matter.
So I actually got a little bit confused with like Rachel's actual room discovery thing. Like, was she living there, or
no idea.
Was that just a shrine that he had made or some shit?
I mean, a lot of questions about it.
Yeah, there's so many like red herrings, I guess. I don't know. Did Irving make that? Like, I mean,
no idea. No, it seemed like it was at least there as long as Rachel's dad.
Well, I mean,
or not Rachel. Sorry, Nicole's dad.
Yeah,
it seemed like Irving and Nicole's dad, Leonard, we're just freaking palling around, at least for a bit, just plotting to torture his daughter.
Well, they were plotting to figure out what happened to Rachel, right? Like,
right.
The way that they ultimately decided to do it was not great.
By trapping the other
Let's
daughter.
stock up on mannequins. Yeah. My daughter, after I die, my daughter is going to have to come back here, so let's get a shit ton of mannequins.
Yeah, mannequins are the worst.
The room discovery was like the turning point in the plot for Nicole, where she started to be weirded out by it.
What? Yeah,
right? Like up until that point, she was just like, I'm walking around this old house, and that was like, there was this disconnect between me and her, right, as the player, because I'm like, this is a creepy building. There's weird stuff going on. This guy sure knows a lot about what's going on here. But like, she's like, I used to live there or whatever. I used to spend all my time there. So she's totally comfortable, right? She's like, oh, this is home, basically, right? Uh-huh. So like, that was weird.
The first time he called me cutie pie, I was like, why is there not an option to be like, what the fuck? And her response of like, Dad? Like, what? What?
Daddy?
I snuck a peek at the achievements. And so I discovered that there was one for scoring a date. And it didn't give any details. It was just like, get a date. And I was like, what? So then once Irving started being like slightly flirty, I was like, oh, I want to date Irving. And so anytime it gave you the option to say something ridiculously flirty, I was like, that one, we're going to be stupid.
No, I found the dude's interaction super sketch the entire time.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable with them, but
I still wanted that date.
It was funny. Yeah, I wanted that. No, I wanted the achievement. I was like, what do I got to do to pop this?
If it involved, if the date ends with me being murdered, so be it.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the bedroom being like a child's room? Like, that was really fucked up too.
I mean,
there's what the hell is going on?
There's like a rocking horse.
Yeah, everything about that didn't really make
a 5-year-old's room.
Right. Also, why did he actually have the retainer? Like, why was the retainer there?
There's so many weird things about it. Like, yeah, I mean, they showed off the retainer, the logo, the like loading screen things was the retainer. Yeah. And so that seemed to be like, this is going to be the big reveal. But it's like, so why? Yeah, she got rid of the body, presumably, but held on to the retainer or what?
Maybe it just got like smacked out of
her.
There's so much of this that like, it seemed they wanted to have a bunch of red herrings and a big deal without.
I feel like, yeah.
I mean, the ending did feel like a twist ending. I was hoping that through all of the weird little reveals and stuff that like Rachel wasn't actually going to be dead.
Yeah.
I was
hoping for.
That's what was going to come about. Is like, oh, Rachel was alive this whole time. She was living in the hotel behind, in all these secret doors and hiding from people. And when Leonard died, Rachel and their child were still there, right? And like, some weird thing with that, right? But no, it was like, oh no, she did die, but she didn't suicide herself.
Yeah, so
she was murdered. Like,
right, which was like clear. I thought it was like kind of fairly. It might have been right around the church sequence, right, where you wake up in the church and you're like, had none of your gear, and it felt like the game was broken. I actually reloaded the game at that section because I was like, oh, none of my equipment's here.
See, well, yeah, when I couldn't bring up the map or anything, I was like, am I playing as Rachel now?
That too, I had that thought too, but then there was a map audio sound effect when I hit it, so I was like, oh, this is broken, and I reloaded the game.
Oh no.
And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm just supposed to leave here.
When I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back to my room, and I expected to see Nicole sleeping in the bed, and I was like, oh no, and I was like, oh, my stuff's over there, and so that.
That would have been cool too. We should have helped them make this game. They need to re-release this game, and there's got to be multiple different weird realities coinciding. Because otherwise, what's the point of all those
subject
books?
matter choices they made?
Also, never ever make it seem like it was okay for Leonard to be fucking a 16-year-old. There's no reality in which that should have been romanticized and made okay. Okay, that's just not. It's not okay. Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, right around the church, I think it was like clear that it was a murder because I was like, oh, it's one of the parents. And I first picked Rachel's dad. I was like, oh, they're like, he's super strict religious dude. Is like, oh, he murdered her, right? Like, that's totally what happened. But then I was like, oh, maybe it was the other dad or the mom. Like, it's one of them. One of them killed her.
Yeah, I guess I didn't get the murder thing for a bit, but what frustrated me was that she was like, oh, maybe she's alive. And I was like, they found her body, right? Like, it says her body was here, and then later they talk about, like, the coroner looked at her body and are like, we know her body. Like, what did the coroner do? Like, just, like, look at a pic, like, I think she jumped from over there. She's probably, like, no, we know her body. How would she not be dead? So I had no doubt in my head that she was dead because it's like, if you have the body, there's no doubt. So
I just hoped that they'd somehow magically faked it. My conspiracy theory brain was like, oh, he's not really, or she's not really dead. Yeah. She's alive somewhere. Like, that would have been so much cooler. And it was just a big cover-up scandal. That would have made for a much better story.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to throw you off the trail so much with these red herrings that, like, it didn't make sense. Like, the room doesn't make sense.
They gave too many... They tried too many things and made it not good.
I will admit I didn't see Irving living in the attic and torturing us the entire time. I thought he was a super creepo.
That's fair.
But I don't think you're allowed to use red herrings that don't make sense in a mystery. Like, there has to be a reason for this to happen.
So at the very end, after you've uncovered the secret of Rachel, right, and you've come to closure or whatever, and so you call your lawyer and say, I don't want to sell.
Oh, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
So right away, the dude's like, hey, you need to look through the house, before we can sell it. It has to be you. And I'm like, no, that's not the owner doesn't inspect the house. That would be and she could just be like, it looks great, looks fantastic.
$20 million.
Yeah, she does. There's no reason she had to be there. It could have been handled. They just made that as an excuse so that the game would work. But go on.
I think they used it as like a hook, mostly so that, like, honestly, as the seller, she would have had to be there to sell, like, to sign paperwork,
like, to confirm that she was gonna sell it, right?
Well, no, the lawyer could have just sent her the paperwork in the mail.
They could have, but we needed an excuse to explore this old.
You have to come back to the town you ran away from.
Honestly, if they just did a like, hey, clear out your shit before, like, grab your dad's stuff before we like sell it, that would have been a better one.
They could have had a better plug, honestly. But we all got to the end. Did you know that there's 2 potential endings?
I had a feeling.
I looked it up just to
stopped her.
Yeah, did you stop her from killing herself, or did you let her kill herself?
I stopped her.
And how out of the fucking blue did that feel? That scene made no sense to me at all thematically. Like, why the fuck did Nicole want to kill herself?
Yeah, like, it was like she just went crazy. She was literally like talking to her mom and stuff, and it was like, what? Where did this come from? You were fine a second ago.
So the last thing you do right before that scene, right, is you're talking to Irving, you're washing the blanket or whatever, and then she has that freak out moment of like Rachel was coming for her, right? It was like you were standing Rachel in the laundry room.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, she's like, Rachel, is that you? And then it cuts.
Yeah, so it's like, I think she was like possessed was, I think, what they were going for.
Oh,
Maybe.
like Rachel was trying to get you to kill yourself.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I took it as.
Yeah, I didn't get
Because
that.
she like freaked out, like, oh god, she's here, and like then it got like weird and warped for a second, and then you wake up
and then
at
you
your
wake
car.
up in the car.
I guess, but I the way that it seemed, the way I saw Rachel was that she was, and Irving kind of suggested it, that was that like Rachel was there helping her brother, like
Right.
so it wasn't like I'm here to hurt you, I'm just here to help my brother do what he wants.
Right.
So, and the brother seemed to like, once he got.
So I thought his ending was really unexpected. Like he just ran out into the snow.
Okay, so I think that made more sense from if he thought that Nicole was the murderer, he wanted a satisfying like he wanted her to be tortured and reveal herself as the murderer and then be able to like do something about it. But seeing as the person who killed her, his sister's already dead, he's like so I have nothing, I have no completion. I just did this fucked up thing. I'm gonna go on, like I'm gonna go into the woods, I guess. So I could kind of see that, but I don't know. It's everything about this is just weird and bad.
Questionable choices. Yeah, so so after you've solved the mystery, you the player you wake up in your car.
Yeah.
And your only option is to turn the gas on, right? To turn the car on?
Yeah, while you're talking to your mom about going to a picnic.
Right, and inviting all the characters from the game to the picnic.
That was super weird. Super weird. I don't remember who so excitedly recommended this game to me, because somebody told me you have to play this game. You're going to love it.
See?
And I'm glad, I mean, they should be glad I don't remember who it was, because I want to punch him in the fucking face. Because now it's come so far that I was like, oh, I'm so jazzed. We're going to play this game. I'm going to get my podcast to play. We're going to talk about it together. And it's just like, what a fucking disappointment, man. What a joke.
Okay, so was there anything else we want to say about this before?
So did everybody turn the car off?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we all saved her.
Do we know what happens if we didn't?
She just dies.
She does.
Anything beyond that? Does she go to
Nothing
heaven?
significant. There's no like additional scene or any shit.
Was there
she
a
just
cut
fades away.
after we turned the car off? Was there a cut for another scene?
No, it goes to credits, I think.
Okay. So she had the retainer in her hand the whole time?
Yeah, I found it super weird. Why are you holding the retainer?
Okay, because I thought I was misremembering that, and it was like, oh, after you turn the car off, then you're like you're Rachel in the car or something.
But I guess
all endings. Right?
I guess
so let's see, we're in the
if
car.
she was possessed, I think that her being super weird makes more sense. But I found it weird.
I think that's what they were trying to go for, right? Because the last thing she said before that scene was like, oh, Rachel, like I feel her or whatever. She's here.
I think she said, Rachel, is that you? Because that would have been.
She says Rachel is here. Hold on, no.
Which was a running theme throughout the game.
Yeah. But I mean, also it was like, oh, it turns out somebody else is here and that person's Irving. So you could have gone like, oh, Rachel's not really here. That was Irving. But then also there's more going on than.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does say, Rachel, is that you?
Yeah. And then it cuts.
Which I think could make sense if they had done something to like make her like become corporeal or something so you could see her.
God, that would have scared the shit out of me.
Right?
I would have liked a shadow or something.
I was worried we were going to have to see Irving.
Me too.
And I was not going to be able to handle that well.
Yeah, I don't think we see any faces. They were like, we're not gonna figure out how to model faces. We saw her hands a bunch.
Yeah, so the ending in which you just let her die, there's not even like a whole lot of audio or anything. There's the audio of the lawyer talking to you on the phone and stuff, and then she says, I don't want to die. It's getting dark. I can't see the light. Now, obviously, the voice actor said it way better than me. I'm not trying.
Oh, come on. That's the best possible voice acting.
It certainly seems like if you let her die, it seems like she's talking to Rachel or something. So it is possible, Matt, that she was like possessed. And you being able to stop that is, I guess, breaking the possession or some shit. I don't know.
But doesn't she still go like, I'm going to stay here forever?
Right. Yeah, that was you live and you chose to stay forever.
Yeah. Well, so maybe Rachel just lives in her body.
Yeah, you're like forever possessed because you chose that.
What also doesn't make sense is like why Nicole even like there's a big storm coming. How did you not know about this? And why did you travel from Seattle?
Yeah.
Like at Christmas time in what is going to be a huge storm. Like why are you even there right now? Like wait till later.
Yeah. Across the board.
Which the
different story, same environment, probably a great game.
Which the map, Irvin had the like map of like there's gonna be a big snowstorm around Christmas time. So did like her dad kill himself so that it could be timed properly that she would come around
Irvin
Christmas
killed
time?
him.
Well, it seemed like they were in on it together, so maybe.
Yeah, but
like,
you know.
And the stuff that he was saying during the projector scene, I was like, are you saying anything? I kind of tuned out. He was just kind of talking about big picture shit, and I was like, is this any of this relevant?
Yeah.
It seemed like they were just trying too hard and got nowhere, and just were creepy in so many different ways.
Oh my God, it's just like you approach so many sensitive subjects, and instead of like having an appropriate response, you like double down on the absolute wrong thing every time.
Okay, well, that was Ready Set GameChat, the suicide of Rachel Foster.
I'd recommend Firewatch. It's basically the same game.
Spoilers. Okay,
Firewatch is not the same game. It's 1,000 times better.
It's got the same structure of days,
yes.
And you do stuff.
Did we come up with the next Ready Set GameChat?
Yeah. The next game is Astrologaster, which is it came out I think last fall. It's available on I believe Steam, and it's currently on Game Pass for PC. And it might also be on itch.io. I think it's $10. Oh, it's on mobile as well, iOS.
I love mobile.
Is it $10 on mobile?
I think so. But I'm probably just going to play it through Game Pass PC. I got that.
Maybe a Humble Bundle will come out with it very soon.
It's a comedy-driven, or is a comedy narrative adventure video game.
Point and click?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's set in Shakespearean themes.
Well, that will be the next one. I don't know what I'll tell you next time when we're doing that one.
It came out in May of last year.
But Darian, do you hear that noise?
No.
I heard that noise.
I did it. Do you want to be a part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite terrible moment in the suicide of Rachel Foster for us to read on the show.
Man,
pick one.
Ghost hunting game would have been cool.
You know, Darian, it's really too bad people didn't want to get that free copy off of us.
Yeah, it's just
maybe they read about it. Now I understand.
Yeah, they were
why.
like, I'll try to enter for the next one.
I don't think we'll be able to get someone to take it now. Okay, let me read the code real quick.
Yeah, hold on. Are you sure? There's nobody that just wants to bullshit through this game? I want Can they just like release the assets and let fans make a better game? I guess I shouldn't call us fans because I wouldn't call myself a fan of the game. People who had
took
to
issue
experience it.
Yeah, people who played it. Let us fix it.
Oh, I feel like we're like dogpiling on these guys.
I know. It was nice looking. It would be a great portfolio piece if you're an artist.
Yeah, so it looked really pretty. The limited music that they had was really good. I wish they'd had a bigger soundtrack. The voice acting was actually pretty good, even though like the dialogue ended up not making a whole lot of sense. I feel like the voice actors did a really good job with what they had.
I would say the dialogue was wooden, but their voice acting was
And honestly, they did a really good job of setting the tone of the game. Like I was on edge the whole time.
They kept tension really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
For nothing
There's a lot
happening
of good
scary-wise.
stuff that they did. It's just that the story sucked ass. And the fact that they tried to make pedophilia is not cool. Not cool at all.
Stop doing that.
Not here for that.
Okay, so this brings us to questions and comments.
So we're in questions and comments. We were just re-wrapping up game chat. Okay, the first question is from Definitely Not Darian. And I think last episode you had said, what's your favorite question, or your question, comment, or your favorite popsicle? And this person responded, my favorite popsicle is a bomb pop.
What's a bomb pop?
You've never had a bomb pop?
I'm going to look it up now.
It's like the red, white, and blue popsicle.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know that's what it
each tier
was
is
called.
a different flavor. Yeah, they're bomb pops. The fuck?
I would have called that like a rocket.
The brand is Bomb Pops, I'm fairly
turns
certain.
Out. Yeah. I didn't know.
Bryce is gone again.
Yeah.
We're taking away your standing desk privileges.
Yeah.
You have to sit your ass down for when you said Gamecast.
Saw your desk down to normal desk height.
My feet hurt, and I feel like if I move more, it'll be better.
Don't move more in the podcast. You have to wait. This is the decision that you made, Bryce.
Can I get another question, comment, or third thing?
Ninja Turtle ice cream pop.
Bryce, what's your favorite popsicle?
I don't really like popsicles.
The derpier, the better.
But if I
the least accurate that it looks.
if someone
I want that.
So okay, there's popsicles and there's ice cream sticks, and I think they're different.
Popsicles only.
So, but if
I don't want your favorite ice cream, like my favorite ice cream is like those Dairy Queen ones that are covered in chocolate. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, the thing Matt just said was an ice cream thing. But my favorite popsicle is red. If you said, "Hey, we've got popsicles. What do you want?" I'll say the red one. If
you said, "I got Freezies in the freezer," would you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, they're just the straight tubes.
I'd take a grape one probably.
I sold those.
Bomb Pops or nothing.
I sold those in front of my parents' hardware store once in the summertime.
Yeah, that's
fun. Get a video game with your earnings?
I got like $2.
Oh.
Did you
if
sell
I get popsicles,
like 2 of them?
Now that I'm an old man, I get the Outshine brand, which is like the no sugar added fruit ones.
Yeah.
I always feel awkward because I work in a job that has me outside in front of people's homes, and there'll be kids who are selling like lemonade, and I'm like, don't look at them because then they'll want me to purchase their goods and services. But they look at me. They look at me and they wave.
I've seen kids doing lemonade, so they're like, "Don't you know there's a pandemic? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Where are your parents?
America doesn't give a fuck about the pandemic. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Definitely Might Be Darian said her favorite hors d'oeuvre is deviled eggs.
Ooh. Was that Darian?
Maybe.
Deviled eggs are real good.
They're so good. Last time I went to my dad's house, we did every summer we do like a little family barbecue and stuff, and for some reason we did it this year, and for some reason I thought that was okay, so I went. Probably shouldn't have, but so far nobody's gotten COVID, so I guess we lucked out. But yeah, my dad served these deviled eggs, and they were so salty, and I was just like, "Dad, what the fuck did you do? Did you dump salt in here? Did you just open it and just pour it in when you were boiling the eggs or some shit? Like, what did you do?" And then everybody talked about it. Bryce.
Are we doing this? I can't get mine. Never mind. It's harder than I thought.
I don't have a mask.
I have extras.
Bryce.
It is both very hot and very smelly in there. Okay, that brings us to the end of questions and comments and the third thing. This brings us to housekeeping. Go to lastgeek.com for links to the podcast on all your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us grow and become more powerful!
I almost missed that.
It actually hurts to flex. That hurt my wrist.
I'm sorry. Other Last Geek stuff you should check out.
Too much power.
Go to lastgeek.com/store to buy a t-shirt that has an image of Darian in a cartoon illustrated type form. Also,
yep, just me.
Also a poster. I would like more
Bryce,
people to have our posters.
I dare you to make Just Darian t-shirts and put them in your store. I bet I could sell like 5 of them.
I mean, why couldn't you sell the ones that are
Just Darian across it?
It's the exact same thing, but it's like us are like erased out of it.
Yes, that would be a cool shirt design. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Not even erased, just like you've been like
scratched out.
Yeah.
Check out the newest episode of Game Make Corp. It exists, and you might like it. Dungeons and Gamers. Matt, tell people about it. Can you
I am Morthos. Yeah, Dungeons and Gamers is I guess it's a podcast. It is an adventure where we play Dungeons and Dragons together. Our latest leg of our adventure was for charity for Extra Life. You can catch that in your podcast feed in the future.
Yep, that one's not out, but Darian joins us for that and will be joining us for future adventures. So if you're like, I really like to listen to them play D&D, but I want Darian to be there. She was not available for the first adventure, but she will be available in the future adventures. She is playing a chick with blue hair who is very secretive about her backstory.
Her name is Belladonna.
That's basically all we got to know.
Which
That's it.
apparently is a poisonous flower.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, Dungeons and Gamers, it's available on youtube.com/lastgeek. There's a playlist for it, or go to podcast services and find Dungeons and Gamers. It's the words Dungeons and Gamers. It doesn't have the ampersand. Also, you should go to Twitter and follow the Twitter account Dungeons Gamers. There's no N there. It's just the words Dungeons Gamers, all one word. It's great. There's cool pictures. As soon as the new episode gets launched, I'll tweet out Darian's characters' pictures and stuff. Also, I did an indie game showcase, which is a YouTube video I made where I'm showing off cool indie games. Matt said it was good.
I watched it and said, good job. Good job, Bryce.
I also interviewed devs live from the showcase, but that will be up at a later time. But you should just go to youtube.com/lastgeek and subscribe so that you can check out all of this great content. And then go to lastgeek.com/store to purchase the t-shirts for it. Matt, where can people find you?
At Dilbert Pickled and on this podcast. That's it. That's all I got.
Darian, do you have any place that you would like people to go to?
I mean, you can follow my current Twitter at DEXTERIDEE. But once I figure out what my next name is going to be, because I still don't know that, I'm going to have a new everything. New Twitter, new Instagram, new Twitch, and an OnlyFans.
Are you not a fan of your current name? Because I know that you're really upset with the fact that you got follow botted.
I like dexterity as a name, but I feel like it was just like the first clever thing I thought of when I decided I was going to change my name, and I just jumped on it.
Okay.
And like, I like it, but I feel like I've outgrown it. I feel like it was just, I don't know. Plus, I get mad when people read it wrong. I have a name in real life that people pronounce wrong all the time. I don't want my stream name to be something that someone's going to say wrong all the time.
What do they pronounce it as?
So I've heard people say Dexter ID.
Oh.
I've heard people say Dexter D or DD because they think it's like a reference to Dexter's Laboratory. And it doesn't matter how you capitalize it, they're going to pronounce it wrong, and I hate it. And as much as I like how clever the name is, it's a little bit too highbrow for some of the people who haven't heard me say it first and try to read it first. Because, I mean, in order to read it properly, you have to know that I go by D as well. And so
I'd rather impress the highbrow people than lower myself to the lowbrow people.
I don't like having to explain, oh, it's pronounced like dexterity, like the word dexterity. And then they're like, oh, that's cool. Like, I know it is.
Because if it was just an issue with the view body, I was wondering if you could like delete your account and create a new one.
That's like a 60-day process.
Yeah.
I did look into it. I don't want to go through the work. Because if I did that, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, this cool, clever name is up for grabs. Like, I don't think anybody else had jumped on that, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work. Plus, also, I'm distancing myself from that name.
Okay, well, that brings it to me. And you can follow me at Twitter at LastGeek. You can follow me on Instagram at LastGeekPlays. Where I think the most recent stuff I've posted is just D&D stuff. And you can follow youtube.com/lastgeek. And shits and giggles, you can go to facebook.com/lastgeek. That's probably it. Okay. Please check out Dungeons and Gamers. I think everyone who I've convinced to listen to it says that they like it, except for Darian. She's didn't have as glowing remarks as everybody else.
Of which one?
Dungeons and Gamers.
What are you talking about?
Everybody else is like, I love it. You're like,
love it.
I think it has potential. I think you had a little lower.
I think I still rated it 5 stars, to be fair.
Sure.
But also, as with all new D&D groups, we haven't found the chemistry yet. The chemistry's not there yet. And I'm a very experienced Dungeons and Dragons listener. So
I honestly like I think we have an interesting dynamic because our DM is a big Critical Role person, and 2 of us are into the Adventure Zone, and the other ones of us haven't any experience with D&D at all.
We're just winging it.
Yeah. So I think it's
it you and me that like the Adventure Zone?
Yeah. I mean,
Erin hasn't listened to it?
She has listened to a little bit of the new stuff. I haven't got her to I've played her 90% of the first arc of the first campaign. But I've been keeping her up to date on the most recent campaign.
I haven't been listening to the most recent one because I really liked Griffin as a DM, and I just don't enjoy Travis's DMing as much.
I think it's interesting in its own way. It's more RP heavy, which is cool. I do think that I have ideas for possibly making my own D&D podcast where I DM, and I think I'll probably try and land somewhere in the middle between them. I'm trying to grab the things that I think worked with the first stuff and some of the stuff that worked with the second stuff and go somewhere in the middle. But that is all we have for you today. This has been a very long episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But don't forget, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Good.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Bryce, you gotta sit down.